What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through Game Week 17 in the Premier League. As you can see, overall I did pretty well here. We start off Friday night, Nottingham Forest against Tottenham Hotspur. I predicted a 2-1 Tottenham win. They won 2-0. To be honest, I thought in the first half, especially Forest were the better side, created more opportunities, looked more dangerous. But Tottenham scored right at the end of the first half. Kulusevski beautiful ball into Richarlison, who scored yet again, and then in the second half, Matt Turner with a terrible mistake gave the ball to Kulusevski, and his shot went straight at Turner. He should have saved it, but he didn't. Basuma also got sent off. Deserved red card in my opinion as well. I don't really understand why people are debating it. He went studs up on his knee. It's a red card. It's a good win for Tottenham. Yeah, they're finding a bit of form again, which I think they needed. They're not out of a title race. I also think Nottingham Forest can be proud of their performance. They played pretty well. I do like that Cooper is not afraid to change formations as well, depending on his opponent. I don't think a lot of managers tend to do that. I respect him for that. And I do think that Nottingham Forest will get results in the coming weeks if they stick with Cooper. Bournemouth against Luton, I'm not going to speak on this one too much. It was abandoned because unfortunately Tom Lockyer suffered from a cardiac arrest. He was stable when he left the stadium. I don't think there's too much news on it yet. Obviously, I hope he's okay. It was 1-1 when it got abandoned. I think they'll replay it at a later day, I'm not sure. Obviously, after that happened, no one really cared about the football. Everyone just wanted to make sure he was okay. No one's really in the right state of mind to play. Everyone at the stadium, fair play for what you did. The medical staff were on hand quickly. Chelsea against Sheffield United, I said 2-1 Chelsea. They won 2-0. Sheffield United did look dangerous in the first half on the counter-attacks. They couldn't really create too many click opportunities though, and Chelsea in the second half took control. Palmer was phenomenal once again, as was Gallagher. I thought he put in a really good performance. I thought Mudryk actually played quite well as well. He had a really bad shot that everyone's memeing, but overall he actually played pretty decent. And I do think we're starting to see him look more comfortable in this Chelsea team. Manchester City against Crystal Palace. The Etihad Fortress has well and truly fallen. They've now drawn their last 3 home league games. It's the first time since Pep Guardiola has been at the club that they failed to register a win in 3 consecutive games. It's really put at home. It's the first time since Pep Guardiola has taken over that they failed to win in 3 consecutive home games. I know they've got injuries, but they should still be able to put away Crystal Palace, man. Man City were actually really lucky in this game as well, because Ederson should have been sent off. He completely took Mateta out, and he was the last man. He should have been sent off for it. It wasn't even like it was a penalty, so you had the double whammy thing. It was outside the box. It should have been a clear red. But in the end for Palace, great result. Eze came back as well in this game, came on for the end, so that's really positive news for him. Palace also had a penalty right at the end, which was a clear penalty. Foden just absolutely took Mateta out. After a bit of a poor run, it's a fantastic result for Palace. I thought they were very unlucky against Liverpool last week, but they do have a bit of a foundation to build on now. Also Manchester City, they're obviously not out of the title race because they're Man City. They're going to have De Bruyne coming back, Doku coming back, and Haaland coming back. And we know that they always start a bit slow and then they'll go on a 20-game winning run. But I don't think they've accounted for how good Arsenal are going to be as well. Like, Arsenal have a lot of depth this time. I actually think that their squad is stronger than Man City's now. So I think they've given themselves a bit too much to do if they are going to win this, but you can never count them out. Newcastle against Fulham, I predicted a 3-goal Newcastle win. It was a 3-goal Newcastle win. I don't know what went through Raul Jimenez's mind when he decided to lunge at Sean Longstaff and catch him in the face with his hip. The ball's on the floor and he dived at him like that. It was just so stupid. He felt aggrieved because he felt the Cells maybe should have been sent off before. I don't think it was a red card. They were kind of both tussling, and it was unfortunate that his arm hit him in the face, but it was not intentional. It wasn't really that deep. He lost his head, to be honest, and yeah, he'd been in such good form as well for Fulham, so for them it's a shame he's going to miss 3 games in a row now in this very tightly packed schedule. Newcastle took control. Lewis Miley became the 8th youngest scorer in Premier League history. Brilliant for him. He's been so good and he's a real bright talent. I think he could go over to the very top if his attitude is right and he keeps playing as he is. There's no reason he can't. And then Newcastle just do what Newcastle do at home in the Premier League. They took control after that, as you'd expect them to, and they dominated and they won. Burnley Everton, predicted a 2-goal Everton win. It was a 2-goal Everton win. I'm telling you, bro, I'm actually a genius. Everton was fantastic. They started really well. Onana, a player who I think is really underrated. I love him, man. I think he's so good. Scored on his return from injury. And Michael Keane, the former Burnley man, also scored. He celebrated quite a bit as well. I don't think there's a lot of love between Michael Keane and Burnley anymore. Sean Dyche did get a very good reception from the Burnley supporters, as he should have, because he is the reason they're even in the position they are right now. You know, he is a legend of that club. McNeil also got booed, another former Burnley player in the Everton team, as is Tarkowski. So half of Everton's team are just former Burnley players. That's probably why Sean Dyche is doing so well with them. Burnley did have a couple chances to hit the woodwork and stuff, but overall, Everton were in control, had way more shots on target. Everton won 4 games in a row, and all 4 of them have contained a clean sheet. It's the first time they've done that in over 21 years. I wasn't even born the last time this happened. So it's an incredible achievement for Everton Football Club. It's brilliant to see as well after the hurdle that was thrown in their way. Sean Dyche deserves a lot of credit for doing the job he's doing. Everton would be flying if it weren't for that points deduction. Hopefully they get it, maybe not completely taken off because they did break the rules, but definitely reduce it because I think 10 points is too much. Arsenal-Brighton, I think it's a 2-goal Arsenal win. It was a 2-goal Arsenal win. Those last 3 results, I keep predicting both teams to score. You know, and to be fair, in this one, I think it's justified. Brighton had scored in the last 32 Premier League games. They'd scored and conceded in the last 20. I thought it was going to continue, but Arsenal was so dominant. Brighton didn't even have a sniff. I mean, towards the end they kind of did, but they didn't really create anything too clear-cut. Kai Havertz scored yet again, and his goal was actually quite important because that was sort of when Brighton were putting on a bit of pressure. I don't want to say he's been a great signing. He's definitely not been anywhere near as bad as I thought he was going to be. So fair play to him. But I want to talk about Declan Rice, man, because he is the perfect player. I don't even care. I love him. He doesn't play for my club, and I love him. He's so good. There are people out there who still don't think he's world-class. You're delusional. He's currently the best midfielder in the world. Yeah? He's arguably been the best player in the world. If it wasn't for Harry Kane going supernova, I don't think there'd even be a question about him being best player in the world. He's been elite for Arsenal. He is the reason they're at the top of the table. He's a generational player, man. He's so underrated. It's crazy how good he is. 105 million for him, you know, an absolute steal. When you got Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, who were the same price, Declan Rice is better than both of them combined, man. It's ridiculous how good he is. So I heard the guy was very good in this game. It's good to see him finally finding form because he is a really good player once he gets going. Arsenal do have a bit of an issue of they're not really finding their net enough, in my opinion. They created a lot of chances here but couldn't score enough. In the Premier League, no one's even close to Declan Rice right now. If everything continues on this trajectory, he should easily win Player of the Year because he's been so much better than everyone else. Brentford against Aston Villa, I thought it'd be 3-1, it was only 2-1, and this is a very controversial game. Brentford took the lead through Keane Lewis-Potter, a player I actually quite like because I signed him on FM from Brentford when they got relegated, and he ran around their stadium celebrating after he scored, and then he scored at Loftus Road and celebrating in front of their fans again. It was just brilliant. Brentford actually were playing quite well till Ben Mee decided to try and kill Bailey. It was such a bad challenge. I can't believe Thomas Frank doesn't think it was a red card. He almost broke his leg. He was nowhere near the ball. He was reckless, out of control, everything you can say. He could have had a penalty though before his red card, but I think it would have been a bit harsh to give that because he was also wrestling with McGinn. But Maupay, after the red card, should have had a penalty because he was quite clearly taken out. I don't understand why that wasn't given. But Aston Villa ended up turning the game on its head. At the end of the game as well, big fight erupted. Tensions sort of started flaring when Ollie Watkins started to celebrate in front of the Brentford fans. He's really risen up my books now. Like, I love him. A really feisty game. Villa came out on top. The Brentford tears were beautiful. West Ham Wolves, I said 2-0 West Ham. Ended up being 3-0 West Ham. This is the West Ham I want to see more often, man. Playing more on the front foot, you know, trying to go at teams because they've got the players to do so. Kudus got 2 goals. Really good. Paquetá got 3 assists. What a player he is, by the way. He had the most chances created in the match, but also the most tackles. He's an elite player. If Manchester City had signed him instead of Mateus Cunha and Kovacic, they'd be easily top of the league right now, man. He's so good. He's so creative, but he's also really helpful defensively. He's the all-round midfielder, and it's no surprise Man City did want him. People on Twitter were clowning it, like, oh, who's this guy? Like, if you watch him, you will see how good he is. And I know West Ham fans have been saying this for a while. I saw it from last March, April, I'd say. He's really started coming into his own. It was nice to see Kudus and Paquetá celebrating in front of the Wolves fans twice as well. Fuck Wolves. Bowen also got on the score sheet yet again. What a season he's having. A really good result for West Ham after the humiliating loss over Fulham last week. Brilliant way to bounce back. Wolves didn't really do anything in the game. They had a little spell in the first 10 or 15 minutes in the second half where they did actually look a bit threatening, and they scored a goal that was offside, very marginal, but it was offside. But after that, West Ham took control again, and then obviously Bowen got his goal. Finally, Liverpool Manchester United. Now, I did predict 3-1. I did also say I could see United getting something. I'm not going to take credit for this. I got it wrong. I think Liverpool were way too complacent going into this. I think they thought they'd already won it before ball was even kicked because they beat them 7-0 last year, and the fact that they had half their team out injured. But Man United put in a real spirited display. The defenders were all really good. especially Varane, man. Varane was absolutely immense. He did nothing wrong. He blocked loads of shots. You know, he put his body on the line for the team. Szoboszlai was horrific. I can't believe people thought he was better than Maddison, man. That's ridiculous to say. Nunes, horrific, man. What a bad player he is. I can't believe people still think he's good. Gravenberch was quite good for Liverpool. I thought Endo was decent, and Alexander-Arnold was also quite good. The defenders were very solid, especially Van Dijk and Natalie. I think they dealt with any real threat that Man United had with relative ease. They cut out passes, they marked balling out of the game for the most part. They probably had the two best chances as well that Liverpool created, which really says a lot about the forwards. They were terrible. But the best chances actually fell to Man United. Højlund should have scored. He's now scored 0 out of 9 big chances in the Premier League. He's still young, but he needs to stop putting some of these away. I thought Anthony actually looked alright in this game when he did get the ball. He did Trent in for a moment, which is really funny, and then put the ball across, but no one attacked it. But Kobbie Mainoo, man, what a player he is. 18 years old, and he was Man United's best player. Amrabat was really bad on the ball. He did well defensively, but he couldn't pass the ball 5 yards. McTominay barely got into the game and was quite poor. Mainoo took it upon himself in that midfield to try and get the ball to the attackers. He played a really nice ball to Garnacho. He probably should have done a bit better. He allowed Trent to get back, and I'll respect Trent for that. Like I have said he can't defend, and I still stand by that, but that was really good from him. Liverpool just didn't do anywhere near enough to win this game, and I think a draw was actually the fair result. Even though Liverpool had like 30-something shots, half of them were from like 30 yards out. It was mad. So while editing, I realised I forgot to talk about the main man himself, Michael Oliver. What an absolute clown. He encapsulates everything that is wrong about English refereeing. Egomaniac, trying to make the game about himself. You know, when you're a referee and your name is constantly in the news, that's not a good thing. And what he did was just horrendous. You know, booking Dalot twice in the space of 5 seconds for 2 apparent counts of dissent, ridiculous. Especially when you consider that Dalot was right. He should have had the throw, and of course he's going to be angry about it. Referees just have too much power now, and it's ridiculous. Especially when you consider that in the first half, Nunes got a yellow card for a clear foul on Johnny Evans. You know, he elbowed him in the stomach. He went to the lino and he started shouting at him about it. Why did he not get a second yellow card there for dissent? He should have been, if Dalot was, you know. Oh, I know why it wasn't. Because he didn't go and shout at Michael Oliver. What a prick, man. I hope he's punished adequately, but we know he won't be because they're just protected too much. But that's why I don't think they're title contenders. I think they'll be won by either Arsenal or Manchester City. Maybe Aston Villa. I actually think Aston Villa are better than Liverpool right now. That's what I thought of the game week. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for another video.